We are literally trying to do our best and keep dry and deal with this.
This is the stagnant floodwater that's surrounding homes here on Barabé Street in Ile-Bizard. It's been flooded for 1 month, and some residents say they feel the city has left them behind. Joanna Lemieux has had a hard time leaving her home for the last month. The inside of her home is dry, but she's surrounded by floodwater and the constant fear of what might happen if the water levels keep rising.
It's a nightmare that you can't even imagine. It takes over your entire life. Every hour we're monitoring the pumps. We're sleeping in the living room to monitor what's going on.
She hasn't been able to get in and out of her home easily because water blocks street access. But if that wasn't enough, she's now worried about the state of the still floodwater that's just at the foot of her property line.
The stagnant water is really starting to exude a very foul smell. And perhaps it's not a bad idea for someone to test it, because I guaranteed it's a health hazard.
The water is stagnant because volunteers had built a dike on the street with hopes to pump out the floodwater with at least 3 pumps provided by the city. Scott Lego says he wouldn't have instigated the plan if he knew the city would only deliver 1 pump, making the job impossible.
With the pumps available, with the pumps that they planned, we would easily be able to empty out the street. It would be accessible to everybody at least. So it's not possible. And when I called the city and I asked about the other 2 pumps, being delivered, he told me he called me, Mr. Marinacci, and he told me that he would call me back in an hour. And within the hour, he told me that he would call me back. They came and they removed the one and only pump that they had.
The mayor of Ile-Bizard, Sainte-Geneviève, says the pump they provided worked 24 hours a day, but didn't do the job, which is why they pulled the plug on it.
I had my specialist come and see, and I had Tom here, who's a citizen who knows about the street, and they all said it's useless because we're pumping the water from the lake, because the water comes from under the pluvial, and the dike is not waterproof.
With a failed plan and a resulting still body of water, the city plans to give it some temporary relief.
It will stay there, but we're going to try maybe to put a breach, 2 breaches to have the water circulate a little bit more.
But this can't come soon enough for residents who are facing more rain, rising water levels, and no timeline of when their street will be dry again.
We want this situation resolved because life is hard enough dealing with the lake.
In Ile-Bizard, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News.